coming with the leadership challenges that we are facing. There's quite a lot on leadership. I mean, there are a lot of discussions which are there already. Discussions like, are leaders made or are leaders born? And then we struggle with a lot of issues. But then definitely there is that attachment issues that we seem to be facing all of the time. And then I've given a list of questions there, which is a sort of an outline, a brief outline, because we cannot exhaust this topic in this time. But we are going to be checking what is this that we're talking about and who are the victims for sure. I'll dwell on the leaders, but obviously it attaches to many people. Where is it coming from? How does it start showing up, and why does it exist even in leaders who know what it is? And how does it affect the victims? But what's the remedy at the end? That's where I'll be rushing to, because that's where the gist of the matter is. Defining the problem does not necessarily solve the problem. We need to quickly come to a place whereby we know what can we do with that problem in that case. I put a small case, a personal case I come across one time. Some years back, I organized, I believe to have organized a very great session with leaders. And I spoke to leaders. Sometimes you talk to those you know, and then you believe they will come. And then to my shock, because this is the event that taught me and that made me actually to even go to do some research and write up what's going on. Only about 3-4 leaders attended or came to that meeting, yet I had my guest speaker friend who was coming from Zimbabwe to be with us here. So I knew I was going to give them quite good stuff in that case, but to my amazement, then just few came. Now, from that feeling of embarrassment, feeling of failure because of the flop of the workshop, then I started thinking more, what could be the problem? I think God was just using that moment for me to have that turnaround or a turning point. And then after that, anyway, I called some of my members in the church, and then, you know, the time whereby you just bring everyone to be there, even those who did not qualify to be there for this specific workshop. But I had to call everyone, at least so that my guest friend will have people to preach on, even though it's not as it was intended. But still, the question was on me. What has gone wrong? What has gone wrong in this? So in that moment, and even after, then I realized that, this is something that is great that we need to attend it to. So the biggest question is for sure, have you come across this? And I know every leader in this case has faced this. If not, we are still going to see it, where leaders are not necessarily excited to come together and even deal with issues and learn, specifically learn together. So one time Jesus told a parable which is almost related to this in Matthew 22, verse 1 to 14. I like this passage because it's very clear the way Jesus tells it, and there is a reason. Without maybe dwelling into the details there, the main issues in that parable, Matthew 22, it's found in also other books of the gospel, but then still, I like the Matthew, the way he tells it, because he's talking to Jews, basically. They understood what he was talking about when he was telling this miracle, where there was a wedding banquet. So if we just briefly look at what happened there, we see that the king in this parable is none other than the king of the universe, basically, who is God. Then the son is God's son. Jesus in this case. So those invited were the Jewish people. The Jews had been told for centuries that the Messiah was coming. But when Jesus, the Messiah, arrives, they do not respond to his invitation. They do not even believe in him. And then this is the reason why Jesus Christ, it's like he also faced such a thing like this. I've come here, I'm coming from God, and I've been sent by God, who is my father. Look, the people have come to, they're supposed to be rallying around me, getting as much as they can get, but they are not interested. They don't, they are giving excuses. Why should I come? Why should I not attend and all the like, until the owner of the wedding said, go and collect everyone so that at least I will have the banquet continuing. So it means God is not going to stop his intention or his plan just because people do not respond to what he wants to do. So this is the scenario that we are in right now. This is where we need to impact ourselves, our leaders, whoever we come across as a leader. How should we influence them to realize if there's that invitation, that call to come together and even just dine in the table, enjoy the Lord, how important it is. But then what is the underlying fact in this case, the real problem? Is it that because people were busy or they were going for weddings, they were going for businesses, they were going for that and that? It is more than that. When I take it into our context, I've realized that in our context, in as much as that parable is talking about the context of the few who did not come, but then there is an underlying a challenge that's there in our leaders of this time, without just blaming everyone or whatever. Then I've taken this time and see that the one reason that is very important is that they were not attached, or people are not attached to the person inviting them. They are not attached. That problem is bigger than going for wedding, going for farming, going for this and that. When you are not attached to what or to the event that we are invited to, possibilities are that you may not attend there because you are not emotionally attached to that event that is there. Even right now, we are all here. Why? Because we are attached to LDI and we are attached to each other. We know the value of each other coming together. But someone who does not know this may not even think of coming here even when we invite them, because they are not emotionally attached in that case. So then, this is the problem that we need then to address with these questions that we have just given. What's the problem there? Where is it coming from? Who are the victims of this problem? So in that case, going straight and seeing what is this attachment disorder issues. I mean, we can define it in different ways: clinically, psychologically, theologically, scientifically, or mathematically, however. But then the issue which is there is that this is a condition of individuals which have difficulty in forming lasting relationships with other people. They have a difficulty. It's we need to come with a solution. How do we remedy that? Because it's a difficult. You invite them for important things, not that they don't want that what is important, but they have a challenge in terms of attaching to other people, because you only get people when you attach to other people. I, as a leader, I believe I'm there to influence people, but I can only influence those who are interested in that influence anyway. Otherwise, you cannot influence everyone as a leader in this world. So this condition makes us therefore to go even much deeper than what we are talking about in terms of just meetings or coming together, fellowship in that case. So it's a condition that is real. Then as I did my studies, I realized therefore that especially leaders with this attachment condition, sometimes they can display this in many ways in their lives, but something sometime did happen in their lives, and unless they solve that, this issue may not go away. It's still going to be there. So as we can see that the main victims of this issue is basically children and adults. I mean, it shows more on children, and also it surfaces later on adults. And that's why if you have an elder in the church who has this problem, and then you put that elder in a committee, you are going to face challenges. If in business or at work you have someone who is a leader and yet he has this challenge, you are probably in a very big challenge which you need to solve later on or right there in this case. But you have got to identify and see the characteristics or see the signs that, okay, this person may be going this. But unless you know what is the history, what is the foundational problem that makes this person to behave the way they behave. And we did at the other time talk about the attitude. Now they are displaying an attitude that you need to address. But what is causing that attitude anyway? Why are they not attaching to people? Why are they questioning everyone? Why are they not loyal to people? What really happened in these people in this case? So then I've said that where is it coming from? I discovered that mainly from childhood, This is where it is coming from. It's a long time issue that has been inside there. Unfortunately, in our definition, in as much as we see that is an individual problem, but then at the end it affects everyone. It comes somewhere. It started right from their childhood years, where the child was not given proper care so that they receive that love, which is, we call love is a primary emotion, So especially from 5 years old, if the child has not received that, it will also surface in 15 years and also 18 years old, and then it will be critical at 24 years or then later on in life, depending on the situation of the person or the environments that they may be exposed to. But otherwise, you can simply pick the signs of this individual, in this case, what's going on. When, if it's a small child at 5 years or even less than that, 2 years, 3 years, if you call this child, come here, my child, I want to hug you or love you, this child will shun away, will not come to you. They don't trust you. So they have trust issues right from that age. But the question is, at 3 years, 4 years, where is this coming from? Because it's supposed to be easy at that time. At 15 years, sometimes these kids become bullies or they shy away, they just shut down. They don't want to connect with everyone. They want to be alone at that time. At 18 years, they may be vulnerable to everything because they're trying to satisfy something that they may not get. They are looking for love from everyone, yet at the same time, they are afraid. And then when now they're supposed to be taking leadership positions around 24 upwards, this is where the problem comes now. They cannot connect with leaders. It's very hard. You try to bring them together. They only can call people to come to them, but they will never go where people come together because they are not trusting leaders, because in the beginning, something happened in their lives. It's either they lost a father, or they lost a mother, or a great leader was taken away, a relative or whatever, and they were not taught why, and they didn't receive that first emotion, which is love. Love is the first emotion. That's where. So it later on in life, that's why then we emote, because that emotion, the word comes from emoting. Then now you are emoting, you are venting what is inside you in that case, which is related to your soul, basically, what really happened there. And then at that time, it's even harder to solve it unless you sit down with that person and they want to be helped anyway, because it's a healing that is needed in this case. Otherwise, if we go back to that parable, we may end up in a situation whereby then even someone is gate crashing, and then they have to be taken to hell, as that story tells us what happened to the owner of the banquet. They ended up saying, oh, take this one, how did he come here, and all the like. And you may find that people did not come. The one who is there is not the one who was supposed to be there. Why? Because they've got this. But nevertheless, the issue right now was that when does it
Sorry. It seems we lost him. Can anyone hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. We lost him, I think.
We lost him.
Yeah,
Okay.
we lost you at some point, but we can hear you, sir.
Okay, you are welcome back. He's back.
Oh, okay. I think maybe it's just network. Sometimes it just flips and you don't even see. I was looking at the PowerPoint. Sorry for that. Yes, I'm not sure where did you lose me? Otherwise, I was talking about the when does it show up?
Yes.
Those 5 years, 15 years, and 18, 24 years.
No, actually, you've moved forward. You've already passed that slide.
Oh, okay. So it means it was just a short.
It's a short one, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Yeah. So I was definitely, saying when that happens, this is where then some challenges do come in later on in life, which then we've got to come to a position where we say, hey, now we are here and this is what is happening. How do we remedy that, and how do we solve that? So, because remember, I've said that this is a social issue. As I said, that love is a primary emotion. And then what happens there, how does it affect this person at this time? There are those anger issues, trust issues, love and loyalty issues, connecting or relational issues. It's not just not coming to a meeting or coming to a gathering. The problem is further, it's more than that. And some, you find that it affects them even in their relationships. If they are married, they cannot connect with the person that they have. Actually, at the age 18, I've discovered that some, they even fear being loved. If someone loves them too much, they run away. And that's why you find that people have these multiple lovers, because if someone attaches to them, they show that love. They are afraid. They don't know what is this person doing. Why are they doing what they are doing? Yet the person, they're just showing love to them. So it becomes a challenge. And then that's why clinically, then they would say it's now an attachment disorder syndrome. Then it becomes a syndrome. But unfortunately, there is no medication in this case. You cannot give the person some supplements or some injections or whatever to heal that condition at that level, because it's emotional. It's more than just the physical, reacting or whatever. So we still need to then work it out in another way, because then now affects us. In meetings, you have this person with these anger issues. They are ready to fight anyone for no reason. They always see something that is wrong, even if there's no wrong. They are always offensive, which is basically, we know that's the bait of the devil, offense. They feel offended. So even if they attend, they are there, but then they come with a mind of offense. I'm offended, but who offended them? They don't even know. The thing is, there's something they lost at their early life. How can it be restored then in this case? So we are having a lot of leaders, in as much as we try to impact and empower leaders, but you find that in most cases we fail, not because we don't have enough material to help leaders, but it's because of the underlying challenge that is within them, which they do not realize. It's a big problem in that case. So this is the reason why, therefore, which remedy is the best. We can try many things that we can try, but nevertheless, what I've seen helping these leaders at this age now, because they are now old, they are now called to serve other leaders, but in as much as they are called to serve other leaders, they still have issues. A lot of issues in their lives. That's the reason why you find that we have, good leaders, when they are preaching, teaching before the people, but they cannot connect with their family. They cannot connect with their spouses because there's something there. They are easily offended. If it's a member of the church, they come to this church, they are offended, they go to that church, they are offended, so they end up rotating all the churches around there, and even at the end say, I don't even see a fit for me. The best way is to stay back, or is to go back to drugs or liquor. This is the reason why the fallback, the major fallback, is drugs in this case, or people going to drink beer, trying to find something that will make them happy in life, because there's something that they missed from the beginning. Now, that's the reason why I will challenge all of us right now that, the mentoring sessions, the coaching sessions, we still need to focus on that one. We still need to do more of those ones because of the issues that are there. I'm sure you can agree with me. As you look around the continent, let me just take our continent, Africa, the wars that are happening, political and otherwise, this leader comes up, people do not just connect to that leader. In that case, even if there's no reason why they don't connect to the leader, but they just don't feel they don't need one. That's why you put this leader, it's not accepted. You put that one, it's not accepted. And the same spirit has even entered in the church. Some churches are changing pastors or leaders now and then because the people on the ground, they don't connect there. But the problem is, there was one time when something happened in that country when young people lost fathers, lost relatives, lost close people, and no one explained what was the reason. And they did not go through a process of reconciliation and understood so that they go over the problem which happened there. Then healing happened. And that's the problem. You take a pastor, you give them a church where a leader came out for some reason and people are angry. We don't mentor that pastor and tell them that this is what we're going to face in this church because people are still angry. Don't come with any vision right now. Come with a healing process there, at least for 6 months, heal the people, whether the pastor was removed or he was transferred or he died or whatever happened there. But the people are in pain because they lost, a leader, they lost a father figure. In a country, if many parents died in a certain time and no one reconciled the young people, this is then becoming generational. You put a leader they don't trust. You put this one they don't trust because that problem was not solved. I guess we have seen this in our countries. This happens and it comes right from the family setup in that case. So it means the major one for me, in as much as we still need to do mentoring, coaching, we need to run forgiveness healing sessions, basically, where people have to go back and analyze their history. What really happened? When did they have a pain that was not healed in life and they did not forgive that person? Then once we start from there, where they think, especially if it is parental related, if it was the parents, because that's a major one, the greatest hurt in a person is when the person is hurt by a leader figure or a father or a parent. In that case, that wound is deeper than any other wounds. So if that wound is healed, then we will see, the person gradually healing, and then we start, helping them. For sure, we know in our time in leadership, the biggest issue that is talked about in business is personal culture, or personal culture of change ready. People are not easily changing because it's not a culture, and that culture can be developed within the company. We know, people are innovative by nature, but then if there is no that culture of change, they may not go to that. And this is the scenario that we have with our leaders. We have to intentionally create that culture of change, personal change, realizing I'm ahead, realizing there's something I didn't get from the beginning and I'm lacking something. That's why I have anger issues. That's why I have loyalty issues. That's why I cannot connect. I have that relational issues with other people because I didn't receive the first, love or emotion that I needed, which is love. In that case, we still need to go to that. I've then therefore seen when I'm going through these forgiveness sessions where we go some certain weeks and people write down whatever hurt they've gone through, whoever hurt them, starting with them, forgive themselves, forgive the person. And I go to an extent and say, forgive even God, because sometimes you blamed God that why did he allow what he allowed to happen in your life? And all those things, they affect you in that case. But forgive anyone you think, but write them down, list them, and until you feel you are forgiven. How do you feel you are forgiven? Basically, it's when we think about that thing, there is no hurt that comes, because basically, a hurt comes from you, it does not come from other people. No one can make you angry. You decide to be angry. In that case, it's an emotion that comes from you, not from other persons or other people. No one, I'm saying literally, there's nothing externally from you or outside you that can make you angry or hurt. You have to think about it. You have to create it from within you, and then it affects you, it kills you. Then you need to heal from inside first in that case. So basically, I've seen that happening, but the challenge still stands that are you able to bring them close to that point even in the first place, to sit down and then they listen? That is an ongoing challenge. But in case they come to you, make sure you grab them, make sure you lead them towards this process of healing through forgiveness, and you will see changes in their lives for sure. I've seen many changing because they have not forgiven someone, especially parents, what happened or what they did to them when they were young. If they've not gone through that stage, they will just going through these cycles in life and then hurt all the time. Basically, I would love to attend more on questions instead of just defining the problem and trying to expose more on the challenges. But I still can address some questions. I believe if then we can ask some questions, and then it will be easy for me to touch some other areas which you think they may be covered. Let me just pause there quickly for now and give it to you leaders and have those contributions. Thank you, TK.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Sam, for taking us through this important subject matter. This is very, very critical, even to leaders, and we face quite a number of issues around this subject matter. In fact, there's already some comment on the chat. Dr. Moiti said that it happened to me last week. And I think when you are talking about inviting people, only maybe a few people that showed up, and that's when Dr. Moiti put on the chat to say, it happened to me last week. I'm looking forward to hear your understanding of the situation. And Dr. Moiti went on further to say, my country has suffered many such pain of devastating losses. The church has not addressed this painful experience. So thank you so much, Dr. Sam, for sharing your thought. And I think this has raised some questions or some ideas. I've seen some people's hands already who want to comment or ask questions. So without taking time, I saw Pastor Chirwa first. He was the first to raise up your hand, then I will come to you, Dr. Tisolo. Pastor Chirwa, over to you.
Thank you so much. I think the pastor has ably addressed a lot of issues that affects people's commitment. But I think we have a situation here in Malawi. The first government that was there was one party, and a lot of things happened. A lot of people that were kind of like not agreeing with the president at that time were either arrested, put in prison, others were killed. And that history is still affecting our nation. That even when the current government had new leaders, but it was the party that was in government here during that time, there is bitterness around the nation. Those that were affected by their relatives, parents being killed or being sent out of this country because they were labeled as the rebels, they still have grudges with the government. That even when the current government is doing good things, they still don't agree. Now, my question is that there is an approach to bring these people so that they should be reconciled and whatever, but they still disagree. They still are bitter, and that bitterness is affecting even their children. So how do you deal with such things? Because the government is open. There was a reconciliation committee that was put in place so that people should be asked for forgiveness, but they still are not. They don't agree. They're still bitter. And how do you deal? Because you are looking at a nation that has a vision, and that vision will want each and every individual and every party, every organization to be involved to realize this vision. But there are a certain kind of people that are still resisting. How do you deal with that so that the country can forge forward?
Okay, thank you, Pastor Chirwa. I'm thinking that we give one or two people more so that we can address them together. Is that okay with you? Hello? Dr. Sam,
Thank
is that
you.
okay
Yes,
with you?
Yes, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay, good. Okay, Dr. Tisolo, please, over to you. You are muted.
Good morning.
Oh, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dlamini, for this topic. It's a serious topic. I never realized how serious it is, but when you were going through it, I look at my denomination, and my denomination is going asunder because of this. And at the seminary, all of my students are from single families. And when they get into the ministry, we're experiencing divorce, anger, and whatever, rebel, and all those kind of things. And I want your advice as a principal. How should we handle this when we admit students? Because, you know, in South Africa, there was a time, in fact, it's still happening, where children were born out of wedlock and they were raised by a single parent or not raised at all. And now they come and said, well, we want to be minister of the word. And when you look at them, when you listen to them, they are fine. But as you said, later on, all these things comes out. How do we deal with that? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Maybe we should take on Pastor Israel from Kenya. Pastor Israel.
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. All that is in the house. My question is about a direct experience, which happens to someone like me, happened to me myself. And this is a trust, leadership trust issue. I happen to like trust so much and labor so much, kind of. I was not born in Kenya. I was in Kenya. I'm in Nigeria. We were sent here by a leader. And then later, I remember those words they said, the English says, you don't subjugate someone by attacking him directly. You manipulate the resources around him, and then you find him on the floor. So I'm a kind of person who has experienced that from a leader that I trusted so much. And later, so many things were being unfolded about him because I've had a lot, which made me to feel like it is now difficult to run the race the way I used to be. I'm a pastor, so I want to know how I can walk towards the process of getting back. I know I'm on my feet, not that I'm on the floor, but I feel like this is not the real me I used to be, because it's really damaged so many things around me. Even my family is affected, and we're trying our best to get back to our feet. So I just need a kind of maybe encouragement or a word that can at least put me in a key corner whereby I can build on that and climb and rise again. Yeah, so that's what I want to ask.
Thank you so much, Pastor Israel.
Thank you so much, Pastor Israel.
I think at this moment, before we bring Pastor Olaojo question on, Dr. Dlamini, will you take on those three first?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the questions, and definitely partly as you ask the question, there is also a remedy right there in the question. And I may not have all the answers, but some others who have some solutions we can steal. But starting from in the country when people are still continuing fighting even when there's no reason, like for instance, most of our countries were still looking for freedom, even when we have freedom days where we were given that freedom, but we're still fighting for freedom in that case, which means it's that anger that's still there. It was not remedied. And then the question was, what do we do then? Because some of the governments have tried to bring people together, but people didn't respond. Yeah, the challenge is, when you are dealing with people, if a person feels you are the reason of the cause or of the challenge that's there, they don't accept you as the one who's going to heal them. It's like you are a daughter.
Sorry, I think his internet has gone again. We give him a little while so that possibly he's trying to reconnect him. Okay, well, while we're waiting for him, I think we want to open it up for those who may want to.
There.
Oh, good. You are welcome back. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're back.
So I was saying then you.
Oh, sorry, we lost him now. Oh, no, he's still here. Are you there? Oh, no. Okay. Okay, you are back. Okay, go ahead now. You are back. Go ahead. No, you are muted. Unmute yourself. No, unmute yourself. You are muted. You are muted.
Sorry, it came back and then it muted. Yes, I was saying the platforms, we still have to utilize the platforms that are there in the church. I still believe the church is the answer. Government may not be the answer in this case because government will always be viewed as the source of the problem one way or another. But then the church, if we utilize the platforms that are there, use them and do what we can do, influence individuals, influence people in that case. It looks like it's small, but then something is happening. If we start with our churches, making sure that there's healing from those who are within the church. If you look at the number of people who go to church, basically, it's quite a big percentage. We can influence the whole country at the end if we make sure we do it intentionally. The challenge is we want to heal someone outside there without starting with us. That's the challenge that's almost seen almost everywhere. But when we take this up and say, as a local church, no matter how small we are, but I want to have healthy families, healthy marriages, healthy young people, people who know what they are doing. Those people are so important because then as they go outside to workplace, as they go to school, as they go anywhere, they spread the same message which you have taught them. So that's one of the solutions. It's not everything, but it's one of the solutions. And then also in the colleges, I've been a principal or leading some Bible colleges for some time. Right from the beginning, you find that when these young people do come, we don't do the thorough job and finding out where they have come from, and then providing also coaching sessions where we sit down, just listen to them. I've discovered that some people go to college looking for help, looking for love, looking for solutions, thinking that college is university, and that's when they learn quite more and they are hurt even much more. So I believe definitely still there we need to insert a process, realizing that they may have coming from somewhere, in as much as we are giving them information, but what is inside them may counteract the good that we are trying to give them. So it must be intentional. My take there is just intentionality, starting from our curriculum, make sure that it addresses some of those issues. I'm not sure the last one, if I picked it well, how to pick up again if maybe there are those challenges with some leaders, especially if a person is your leader. How do you, if they still display some characteristics of attachment issues, in that case, how do you deal with that one? Obviously, with that one, you still have to forgive that person. Forgiveness is something that is very spiritual, basically. Even if the person has not responded, but you start talking about the issue to God, forgive that person even before you meet that person. And then when you meet them, you just sense if you still have those clashes or those challenges that are there, you sense yourself, but deal with yourself first, and then God normally helps us to deal with the other person. If someone you have forgiven, it does not necessarily mean that you are now friends. It does not necessarily mean that they now love you or they now care for you. The issue is on your side. You have a control of yourself. You can control yourself, not other people. The healing is from your side. Once you are healed, as I said, that no one from outside can hurt you. You only decide to be hurt if you think of it. So think of a positive thing, learn from what they are doing, and put that aside. Believe you can still go forward. But on that one, definitely, I would love also contributions from the team and see how can we help the brother on that. Thank you.